Hi everyone, back to the Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris back with a match preview for Newcastle United's upcoming game this Saturday, 8 p.m. kickoff. Thanks a lot for that, TNT Sports and Premier League. Yes, down at the Emirates against Arsenal. High-flying Arsenal. I'm not looking forward to this at all, to be brutally honest with you. I have a bad feeling about this game.
I have a very bad feeling about this
game. We'll get stuck right into it in a minute. Talk about how we think the lads will line up, or how we hope Eddie Howe will line the lads up. We'll get into that in a minute. Just before we do, a little reminder, before we crack on, if you haven't checked us out before and the first time you're watching us, hello, nice to see you. Smash subscribe. We're over 6,600 subs now, so we're closing on 7,000 subs. Really appreciate all the love and support you guys have given us in the short time we've been doing this, but loads of room for you. If you are new to the channel, smash the button. It's all free content. But if you do want to give a little back to the channel, there's a membership option down there too, and you can get early access to videos and all sorts of stuff. So why not click whichever one suits you best? So let's get stuck into this game. And I'm not looking forward to this at all, to be honest with you. High-flying Arsenal, they're unbeaten in the last 5 Premier League games. They've scored 14 goals in the last 3 games, I think it is. In the Premier League, they just battered Burnley 5-0, and it was 6-0 the week before that, and they beat Liverpool 3-1 the week before that. They've just got beat off Portland in the Champions League, which a lot of people will be chuckling at. I, for one, aren't very happy with that, because I have a feeling they're going to take it out on us at the weekend, because they'll have a point to prove. Their fans will be a bit disappointed for that defeat in the Champions League, and this could be a real scary game for us, I think, at the weekend. So it's not going to be one for the faint-hearted. But how do I think the guys are going to line up, or how do I hope Eddie lines them up? This is what we've gone for in terms of the lineup. There's always talk about Isak and Willock being back, and that's amazing. Having Isak and Willock back in the squad is tremendous, and Newcastle United need those 2 players more than ever. But don't throw them in a game like this, because even if Isak and Willock started this game, I don't think we will have enough to win this game against Arsenal in a minute with the form that they're in. I'd rather save Isak and Willock for Wolves the week after, where you can maybe start them and win that game, hopefully comfortably. But this is going to be a real tough game for us. And we've made some changes, as you can see there. Of course, we've got Anthony Gordon playing back through the middle again, because Wilson's injured perpetually, and Isak is probably just coming back. And if we're lucky, he's on the bench. I wouldn't start him. I'd start Gordon through the middle. And then if you want to bring Isak on in the second half for 20 minutes and Willock as well, then why not? Maybe if we're still in the game, we might have a chance to get a point possibly, but I really don't think we will be at that point. Sounds dead negative. I'm just being pragmatic and honest, guys, to be honest with you. The other big changes that we've made, now this is what I hope Eddie Howe does, because if the game against Bournemouth was anything for anybody to realise, is that Dan Burn cannot play up against pace, and you're going to want to put him up against Saka, one of the fastest, most informed players in the league. You've got Martinelli as well in that team. This has got danger written all over it. This is not the game for Dan Burn, Eddie Howe. He's exposed time and time again. That midfield 3 doesn't have enough legs to cover him either. When the likes of Joe Linton and Willock are there fit and firing, you can cover Dan Burn's deficiencies. And then you can look at the good parts of his games, how he's good in the air and he's strong and all that kind of stuff. But he's terrible against pace. He's lacking a yard since he's come back from that back injury. And Saka or Martinelli will rip him limb from limb. So it's not for me. Tino Livramento has to start this game. He has to start it. And I really hope Eddie Howe feels the same way. In the front 3, if he's fit, that is, I've seen pictures of him training. He looks like he's fit. Jacob Murphy has to come in at the right-hand side for Miggy Almiron. He was atrocious against Bournemouth. He really, really was. This whole running around and being happy and smiling and working hard and everything else, some of the ridiculously thick, brainless bits of play that Miggy Almiron did last week cost us that win. There was more than 2 or 3 occasions he could have slipped a teammate through, and he didn't take it. Gordon, Trippier, I think there was a ball in from Longstaff as well, which he fluffed. Not for me. Miggy Almiron has to sit on the bench for this. If we're still in this game with, say, 70-minute mark and you want to bring him on to run at tired legs, then do that. But he's not going to start this game for me. He's a liability. And if Miggy and Burn start this game, we're in big trouble. I think we'll get beat by a canter, to be honest with you. But looking at the Arsenal team, how they're probably going to line up. I mean, it's goalkeeper roulette, isn't it? You don't know if it's going to be Ramsdale or Raya. Probably be Raya, because he seems to fancy him. He did get beat by I wouldn't say an easy shot. It was a good strike, but, he has been a bit suspected as Raya. So take a shot from distance, but none of our lads do it, with the exception of Bruno. So he's probably not going to have any real risk for that, really. You've obviously got Ben White and Saliba and Gabriel. Great back line they've got there. There's a Kiowa, Odegaard, who's brilliant on the ball. Declan Rice, who's up there for player of the season for me. Jorginho, again, who can sit in really well. Last time Bruno played against him, he nearly elbowed him in the head, didn't he? Get a red card. So Bruno's got to be careful. And then Saka, Havertz and Martinelli up top. Now, Arsenal will be smart as well from the defeat at St James's Park with a controversial goal. If you remember that, they still haven't got over that, the Arsenal fans. So they'll be up for beating us. And I really do think that the defeat to Porto is going to put more fire in the belly of the Arsenal team. And I've got a real bad feeling about this game, guys. I really have. I put Fabian Schär in the back four because he looked like he was fit in training. So whatever that arm injury was, we'll hopefully get him back into the side. But if not, Jamal Lascelles probably comes in for Fabian in that regard. And yeah, we're going to have a work cut out for us. I think the midfield, it'd be really interesting to see how the likes of Miley does against, Rice and players like that as well. Longstaff is due a good game. He's been off the boil for a long time, but I don't think this is going to be the game, sadly. I think Trippier will be in trouble as well with Martinelli's pace. Trippier is very clever, though, in terms to Burn. Burn tries to get a little bit too tight and gets done. He did play Saka quite well, Burn, I must admit, at the Emirates last season, but he did have Joe Linton to help him out. He doesn't have that on this occasion. So again, for me, Burn cannot play. But I just have a really bad feeling about this game, guys. I really do. I think Arsenal are in electric form in the Premier League. Like I say, they've won 5 out of 5. We only won 2 out of 5. We've looked suspect. We're shipping goals. There's too many gaps at the back. The midfield isn't particularly strong at the minute either, although Miley played really well in the number 6 role against Bournemouth. I've got a really bad feeling about the game, and sadly, and I hate to say it because I hate being negative in these things, I'm going to go 3-0 to Arsenal as my result. And this isn't a game that, for me, I'd say 3-0 defeat is obviously going to be sad to take, but I'm not going to be too upset about that. For me, it's about the performance in this game. If the lads put in a good shift and show that some of the mistakes are out of their game that were against Bournemouth and your Lutons and all these other teams, and then we get Wolves at St James's Park, I think it is the next fixture, we can really do them over, hopefully with a fully fit Alexander Isak and a Joe Willock. But I don't think this is going to be our game, guys. I'll be on for post-match analysis now. I'll happily hold my hands up and say I'm wrong if we manage to get a result at the Emirates, but I really think this one could possibly be a little one too far, and I think a result is going to be very difficult to get here. But let us know in the comments below what you guys think about the team lineup, what you think about the result prediction. Do you think we've got a better chance than that? Do you think Newcastle United are going to pull out a draw or a victory at the Emirates? We've shithoused them before. Could we do it again? We always like to hear from you. Smash a comment in, and if you can as well, subscribe, like the video, help the channel grow. We'll be back with that post-match analysis probably around about 10 o'clock-ish on a Saturday night. So if you haven't fucked off to the boozer, come on and join in the chat with us. And if you're happy, great. If you're sad, whatever, we'll talk about it. That's what we do at Evermore. Keep it Evermore, guys. Have a cracking week, and let's hope we get something out of the Emirates at the weekend. See you later. Cheers.